As its coronavirus cases surge, Kenya has restricted alcohol sales. President Uhuru Kenyatta has announced a ban on the sale of alcohol at restaurants effective for the next 30 days. Bars in the country will remain closed for the same period. The East African nation has had 17,600 cases with 7,700 recoveries. SABC correspondent Kimani joins us now from Nairobi, Kenya. So, Sarah, I wonder if the justification is the same as that which South Africa has given.
Yes, indeed it is, because President Kenyatta says when he was lifting the lockdown, he was clear that the country's citizens will have to be responsible for every decision that they make, and that he would not hesitate to institute these lockdown measures. And so he avoided a complete lockdown or even restriction of movement, but instead he pointed at alcohol as one of the issues where people have failed to put social distancing. People have failed to come, to go back home early. And so he says during that time the country has seen a surge. And so he announced the closure of all bars indefinitely. But he also said that restaurants now will not be allowed to sell alcohol until further notice.
And that's within a curfew, Sarah, of between, I think, 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. Tell us a little bit more of what the conditions are, whether people have been adhering to that curfew.
Indeed, people have failed to adhere to that curfew. And when President Kenyatta was speaking today, you could actually see that he was not happy with Kenyans, and you could see his frustration. He said that the country is in a war. He described the health crisis that the country faces now as a war. And he said that unless everybody comes together, then the country is likely to lose that war. In the last few days, we have seen triple-digit surges in the numbers of positive cases of COVID-19, probably Sunday being the worst since the March when the first case was announced. We had 960 positive cases announced. Today, they went down to about 480. So half of that. But President Kenyatta is expressing his frustration on everybody, including politicians. Just last week, a politician was put behind bars for having been caught in a bar at 1 a.m., meaning a lot of Kenyans, including those who should know better, politicians, people in high places, are also finding themselves on the wrong side of the law.
And I want to talk about that, Sarah. South Africa and Kenya have often been cited as among the top drinkers on the African continent. So just looking at consumption patterns, is there evidence that the black market is growing as we've seen here in South Africa?
Probably the thing that will be lucky for Kenyans is that they'll still be able to buy alcohol from supermarkets and outlets that are called wines and spirits. They are probably the same as what you call spaza shop in South Africa. So they're not completely locked out from consuming alcohol, but they will have to now buy and drink it in their homes. This also raises the issue of gender-based violence, because President Kenyatta says since the lockdown started, there has been an increase in the number of domestic violence cases, a lot of gender-based violence cases. So a lot of people were already raising issues and saying maybe it should have been banned completely, seeing as now alcohol drinking will be moved to homes, because nobody is allowed to drink in bars, not even in their cars outside these spaza shops. They must go back home and consume their alcohol at home if they are to do that. But they're also not allowed to hold house parties.
Okay, Sarah, let's talk about the impoverished people of Kenya and how they've struggled under COVID-19. That's a conversation that you and I had the last time. The fact that the poor are not even benefiting from the relief funds that have been allocated to assist people, as we've seen here as well. What is the situation now? Has it improved?
The situation is getting worse across the country. Indeed, the Treasury, the Ministry of Economics, the Ministry of Finance just this week said that it is likely that the economy will grow by only 2.4%, down from 5.8% last year. Reports showing that some of the worst hit industries are the tourism sector. There are also hotels, and now with the closure of bars, those are also going to be hit. But it is the people in the informal sector who are worst hit, because take, for example, the women who come every morning to go and wash clothes. Those are not getting jobs because a lot of people are working from home, but they're also wary of letting in strangers into their homes. There are those people who work in the vegetable kiosks. Those two are also finding it very difficult to make ends meet. A lot of people in the informal sector are actually reaching out to government, reaching out to mutual funds to help them. Indeed, the government has been distributing about 2,000 Kenya shillings. That's about 200 rands per person among the people that they believe need this money. Cash transfers have been going on, but there are a lot of people who are still not reached by these cash transfers. And we have seen a lot of citizens coming up with mutual aids to assist people, but that still is not enough. We understand, according to Oxfam, the British charity, that there are millions of Kenyans who could be sleeping hungry, and those numbers are expected to rise as the country continues to reduce the amount of economic activities that can continue between that 5 and 9 p.m. When everybody should be home.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Sarah Kimani, correspondent, speaking to us live from Nairobi, Kenya. 17,600 COVID-19 cases is what's been reported there, with a death rate of 1.6%.